Recognition Night. This bank reward is one of our favorite evenings. First, it's an interesting experience because we get to share a meal with you and we have time to recognize where all of you kids are coming from and learn a little bit more about your backgrounds. But then we get to come up, and most award programs, kids quickly cross the stage and we say your name, we shake your hand and send you on your merry way. But not tonight, my friends. So tonight, your wonderful teachers have all prepared some words for you to move on to the future and to let everybody else know a little bit about your greatness. As I mentioned in the cafeteria, there are a number of people that we'd like to thank. Again, I'd like to mention the Hot Dog Hall of Fame for their generous contribution. I'd like to take a moment and recognize Martin Hale and Paul Lupke, my right-hand guys who make this place run on a daily basis. Absolutely couldn't and wouldn't do it without you, so hats off. Thank you guys. I would also like for you to take a moment as you leave the program tonight and recognize our Hot Dog Hall of Fame just outside the doors here. You can see a lot of plaques. And kids, I want you to think for a minute about the Hall of Fame because those people are recognized for a lifetime of extraordinary achievements. And I would say that by being here tonight, you've made some good steps towards being some new inductees to our Hall of Fame. Families, we would certainly be remiss if we didn't recognize all of you because we know that behind every strong student is a strong group of individuals that supports them on the daily. We know that you run out in the middle of the night and buy poster boards, and we know that you talk them down before they're taking the big test, and we know that you feed them breakfast before they take those other tests and do all of those things, and it's through your modeling and support that has helped create these awesome kids that we get to see here today. And then finally, last but not least, our class of 2024 kids. We get to sing your accolades individually tonight. And you probably don't realize, although you might, it is Hot Dog Appreciation Week here at Frankfort High School. And I love when those weeks coincide with our awards program tonight because little do you know, perhaps, but students like you are the reason why people like these come to work every day. They love to watch your creativity and your passion. They love to watch you think that you know it all when you come in as freshmen. And just now, here in the mid of May, you're realizing, whoa, the world's big, and I'm going to go out there by myself. Yes, you are, and you're going to be great. But it's really fun to watch you guys grow and learn and become the awesome people that you are. So while we celebrate each of you tonight, it reminds all of us why we entered the world of education. And we'd like to thank you as well. So without any further ado, and without going on any further, let me tell you just a few things about what's going to happen. I will announce each presenter and the award that they're given. At that time, the teachers will move to the stage, and kids, you should move up as well. The most important part, and Mrs. Schaefer and anybody in your book knows, is the picture afterwards. It didn't happen if we don't get the picture. So, as you are given these beautiful awards, Mr. Taylor has outlined a wonderful place for students to stand. Here, this is where you'll stand. You will smile and shake. Yeah, you'll do that at graduation too. If you don't go to the line, then the pictures don't turn out right? And then Mrs. Schaefer gets very unhappy, and that just cannot be. So, make sure that we come up and pose for the picture at the end. We will begin tonight with our department awards. Tonight we'll go through our department awards, we will recognize all of our class officers, and then we will talk about each of our top 10 students. So tonight we'll start with the department awards, and Mrs. Graham Bishop is up first. So please come to the stage to present the Business Award to Jasmine Lozano-Barragon.
Presenting the Outstanding Business Department Award. Mr. Johnson son, fellow business teacher, and I would like to recognize Jasmine Lozano-Oregon as this year's recipient. When discussing the candidates for this award, we quickly determined academic achievement was consistently strong across the board by many of our seniors. But when assessing all of the extras we expect in our recipient, we ran out of boxes next to Jasmine's name. Prior to tonight's festivities, I highly doubt anyone in this room was waiting with bated breath on who was going to be honored as the outstanding business student. Really, is there any other student that best represents Frankfort High School Business Department than Jasmine? So here are a few Jasmine's extras. As of this past Monday, we learned Jasmine passed the DECA School-Based Enterprise National Certification Exam with the highest score in the class. Better yet, as of this evening, she has earned the highest score in the state. One week ago tonight, Jasmine returned from competing at the International DECA competition held in Anaheim, California. She and her partner delivered a formal business presentation to judges about DECA Cookie's product service management. The duo was instrumental in documenting DECA's school-based enterprise business in a 20-page paper in which Frankfort DECA earned international recognition by becoming a gold-level recertified business. Now, Jasmine is no stranger to the stage. During her junior year, she competed in the professional selling event at DECA District competition against students from Hamilton Southeastern, Fishers, Noblesville, Westville, Guerin Catholic University High School, just to name a few. She completed a 100-question marketing exam and conducted a 15-minute sales pitch. She won. She got first place overall. Now you might be wondering how this first-year marketing student did at state last year. She finished 5th in the state. Not too shabby considering the 2 students who placed 1st and 2nd at state finished top 20 in the world. And the gentleman who won state, who beat out Jasmine, placed 1st in international competition. This is the kind of company, the highly successful, self-motivated, passionate about business and selling, and driven by ethical leadership is Jasmine. Now, my 3-minute time limit just isn't enough to showcase all of the reasons Jasmine is our department winner. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of the 5 business courses that she's completed, 3 being marketing college courses, the numerous college courses she's completed over the past few summers, or serving as Frankfort DECA Vice President last year and serving as President this year. Did you know in the past 12 months, Jasmine has traveled to Orlando, New York City, and Los Angeles with DECA? Having never flown before or seen an ocean, she has since earned her wings and been in both the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. Jasmine's parents are the best. Thank you for allowing your daughter to create lifelong memories and supporting her goals. Having a front row seat watching Jasmine grow to a successful businesswoman has been amazing. You know, IU does know how to pick 'em. Jasmine has accepted early admission into Indiana University's Kelley School of Business. Your future I-Corps group has no idea how lucky they are they're going to have you as a partner. You've left your mark here at Frankfort High School. Go leave your mark both at IU and in the business world. Congratulations, Jasmine, on all of your success.
Our next department award is the Science Award, presented by Mrs. Kramer to Jennifer Hernandez Gomez.
My name is Erin Kramer, and I'm one of the science teachers here at Frankfort High Jennifer Hernandez Gomez as our science student of 2024 for the senior class. She's currently in my Project Lead the Way, biomedical science. Project Lead the Way is a program which educates students in techniques and equipment used in hospitals and labs every day through the United States. My class is the final step of completing this pathway. When I first had Jennifer in class, she was very quiet, and still is, but was always fantastic about getting her work done and making certain she understood what was expected of her for her assignments. She would ask questions that were well beyond what the assignments required. She would often double and triple check her work and make sure that it was done well, and often did more than that, going above and beyond what the assignment required. After a while, I started to see not only a student who wanted to do well, but a student who wanted to challenge herself for herself and not just everyone else. I realized that her quiet determination allowed her to stand out from the rest, even if she didn't intend on being seen. The competition has never been with the others, but with herself. In her time at FHS, Jennifer has not only completed the Project Lead the Way path, but also AP Biology, and ICP, as well as AP US History. She has completed those two AP classes and still maintains an impressive 3.8 GPA. In science, she began with the core classes of ICP and biology, but quickly gained momentum and took on AP Biology and PLTW. That's not always an easy thing to do, and many students do not have the determination to strive for this goal. She has worked extremely hard, quietly challenging herself, imagine, and proving to herself that she can achieve anything she puts her mind to. You may have only needed to prove it to yourself, Jennifer, but we see you, and you've proven yourself to us. You've shown us all how amazing you are, and we wish you nothing but the best. Please help me congratulate our 2024 Senior Science Student of the Year, Jennifer Hernandez Gomez.
Our next department award winner is Esmeralda Quijosa Silva. She is winning the Visual Arts Award presented by Mrs. Buckingham Irvin.
Mrs. Kelly Zell will be signing our presentation today for Esme, and this is on behalf of Mrs. Caesar and myself. The Top Art Award for the class of 2024 goes to an artist who often seeks unique solutions to art problems. Esmeralda Quijosa Silva, better known as Esme, doesn't always take art seriously. In fact, she frequently laughs, jokes, and actually has fun with art. You will see this sense of joy in her everyday life too. Esme often walks down the hall with a bounce in her step, a smile, and a strong sense of positive energy. Her sense of fun often feeds her creativity, pushing her to come up with unique and interesting ideas. A cardboard portrait of The Rock, an embroidered piece of cat toast, a man sitting on the rim of a jar fishing. Esme's dedication to her art has led her to take 5 visual arts classes while she has been at FHS. While most of these classes have focused on two-dimensional art, drawing, painting, photography, Esme also excels in sculpture. She recently earned a category award ribbon for the ceramic tile of a cat at the All-County Psi Iota Xi Art Show. One of the things I admire about Esme is her willingness to keep tackling a problem even after she thinks she is done. Though sometimes reluctant at first, Esme usually just shrugs, rolls up her sleeves, and starts working on new ideas and new works of art. It is my pleasure to award Esmeralda Guijosa Silva with the 2024 Senior Art Award. May Esme always find joy in creating.
We next have our Journalism Award, presented by Mrs. Schaefer to Syra Flores. Tonight, I have the pleasure of recognizing a truly outstanding hot dog. Syra's teammates describe her as optimistic, selfless, and a great leader. I could go on for hours singing this girl's praises, but I won't. I follow instructions. But I'm going to share a story with you instead. Winter Homecoming was a whirlwind of events with Syra at the center. The events of January 12th started with the return of Coach Best to our ranks. Syra and others organized a tribute to Bethany and her late husband, Jack. In addition to helping to organize the event, Syra wrote and delivered an emotional tribute after our game. This is a great example of showcasing Syra's heart. The team was at her back. We were together. Next, instead of quickly changing into her cheerleading uniform, Syra had to transform from a sweaty basketball player to a glowing homecoming court candidate. Because she gives so much to others, the locker room turned into a space with past, present, and future lady hot dogs helping Syra get ready. We, along with Syra's entire family, celebrated together as she was crowned homecoming queen. This evening was full of emotional ups and downs and will forever be one of my favorite basketball memories. It was an evening that would not have been possible without Syra. This entire evening showcases pretty much Syra in a nutshell. She brings people together. Syra has influenced and helped to mold the next generation of hot dog leaders. Though her time at FHS is coming to an end, she will flourish as a cardinal. I know she will work hard, challenge herself, make new friends, meet new roommates, and keep in touch with us back at home just because that's who she is. I have included a small gift, a necklace Wenceslao.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you all for coming out to celebrate and support this incredible senior class. I have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of Hans Wenceslao, this year's Social Studies Department Award winner. For those of you who don't know who I am, though, I'm Cormac Jules, Social Studies teacher here at FHS. This senior class definitely has a lot of rock stars in it. When our department met to go through all the candidates, it was really fun to think about all the people who could possibly have a chance. So each of us came with some selections, and as soon as Hans's name was brought up, pretty much every teacher that he had in the department immediately thought to themselves, was like, yeah, that kid was pretty awesome to have in class. He has a true mind for history and loves the ins and outs of so many fun topics. Hans comes to class every day ready to talk and indulge in all things the past, but make sure you're ready because he has some hot takes, but he typically can back it up. I was lucky enough to have Hans in my class when we first transferred here from Carroll High School, his sophomore year. Hans was ingrained into my class almost immediately because I want to say we were talking about, it was right at the beginning of the semester, and I want to say we were talking about the colonization and the spice trade, which is the overtaking of the Philippines by, like the Spaniards and stuff. And if you don't know who Hans actually is from the Philippines, Cebu. So, of course, I was incredibly nervous because I wanted to make sure I got nothing wrong in that topic. But from that moment on, he was able to step right in, and he was a part of discussions, conversations, and he was pretty much one of us immediately. Hans and I clicked, and I've always admired him and his ability to joke and kind of make fun of the past in such a witty way. I could always count on him whenever he's in my class. I do feel bad, though, because he would always ask and quiz me on Filipino history, and I would always delay and reflect. But here we are today, and I guess I have figured out 3 facts for you, and hopefully you know this about your own country. So number 1, did you know there's 7,100 islands in the archipelago? Number 2, did you know that you gained your history, your independence in 1946? Okay, you got me there. And then the last one, I do know a guy named Manny Pacquiao. He's a pretty good boxer. You heard of him? Yeah. He's Filipino as well. All right, so I hope that'll suffice for now, but I'm sure you'll stop by my class tomorrow on your weekly Thursday drop-ins to your community to make sure I get brought up on that. I would be remiss to not mention one of my favorite memories of Hans. I've already given some flack about this, but along with all the other social studies teachers, we appreciate your ability to handle Jesus, if you guys know who Jesus is. Whenever you have Hans and Jesus in the same classroom, just picture the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef right now. And that pretty much encapsulates the room. You have a masterful way of dealing with it, and I want to make sure I at least let you know that the entire social studies department is very proud of you. P.S. We do think that you are Kendrick in that ability, so good job. Hans is incredibly talented, and I cannot understate this. The social studies department has loved having you in all of our classes. One of these days, though, I will need you to make me one of the Hans lunch specials, because I promise you've never seen Hans at lunch. He has the best food in the entire school. So, with that being said, the social studies department is your biggest fan. We wish you nothing but the best with your future endeavors. This year's social studies department award winner is Hans Wenceslao.
Our next presenter is Jason Hutton. He's presenting the Music Award to Miss Jocelyn Seward.
All right.
Hutton, and I teach the band and the orchestra at Frankfurt High School. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting a 2024 Music Department Award to Jocelyn Seward. Jocelyn is the daughter of Luke and Danielle Seward. I would like to thank Jocelyn's parents for letting her spend so many hours at Frankfurt High School and Frankfurt Middle School, making a huge impact on the music departments. Let me tell you a little about Jocelyn. Jocelyn is very involved in school. As a member of the tennis team, wrestling manager, SAD Club, National Art Society, Clinton County Orchestra, and of course, the Frankfurt Hot Dog Orchestra. She's also maintained a job throughout high school, and I would like to thank you, Jocelyn, for being so involved in school as a talented student. Jocelyn loved orchestra from the start of 6th grade. I know, because I talked to her orchestra teacher from 6th grade, Mrs. Stalcup, about her. Her orchestra teacher from that time shared with me that she remembers how hard she always practiced. Jocelyn was the only 6th grader brave enough to play her violin in the FMS talent show. She played the song Ode to Joy. Mrs. Stalcup loved her enthusiasm and dedication to orchestra. She is so proud of the outstanding musician Jocelyn has become, and so am I. In fact, there are many great musicians from this senior class in our music department. So let me tell you why Jocelyn earned this award. First, Jocelyn cares. She cares about orchestra and works hard to make sure the orchestra is great. This includes helping every day after school at the Frankfurt Middle School and at their concerts. The Frankfurt Middle School orchestra teacher, Mrs. Whitener, shares that Jocelyn has played a vital role in helping teach and mentor younger students. She inspires, encourages, teaches, and cares for the students, and the students tell Mrs. Whitener regularly how much they love having her. She is dependable, kind, and always there, ready and willing to help. And Mrs. Whitener has loved working with her every day, exclamation mark. She says, thank you for your work, or actually I say, and she says, thank you for your work at the middle school, Jocelyn. Jocelyn is talented. Having a first violinist who is outstanding makes the orchestra outstanding. It gives other students an example of how to play. Jocelyn's example as a violinist who has received gold at State Solo and Ensemble for 2 years. Jocelyn is a person of high character. I am a person that believes that a person's character is revealed when things don't go their way. What do people do when they're confronted with adversity? And well, for Jocelyn, adversity came halfway through her sophomore year when her orchestra teacher that she loved left to go to another school. She knew that she loved orchestra and she knew what to expect there. And at that time, in came a new teacher, yours truly, who started teaching orchestra and of course started making changes immediately. And many of these changes were big changes, like performing a big broadcast and dancing while we did it. Even though she was just a sophomore, Jocelyn was already a leader in orchestra, and with the changes that we were having, we had some conflict, okay? We had some conflicts that honestly other students might have quit over, but not Jocelyn. You see, in times of adversity, Jocelyn did not give up. She made some changes, and so did I. She thrived, and that is why she is getting this award. In the past 2.5 years, the orchestra has performed 4 times the big broadcast. Jocelyn took 2 solos and 2 ensembles to State Solo and Ensemble and received gold with distinction. We've played as a whole orchestra ISMA contest and received gold, as well as great concerts, great Christmas shows. We've even played at Rotary Club meetings, Christmas tree lighting festivals, and farmers markets. Through all of this, Jocelyn has had a positive attitude and been a great leader. I can report that 6 years later, she still loves orchestra, practicing hard and doing hard things. She has made a huge impact on me and the orchestra, and we will definitely miss her as she pursues her music education degree at Ball State next year. Congratulations, Jocelyn.
Next up, we have Mrs. Thomas presenting for the Family and Consumer Science Department. She's giving her award to Guadalupe Guido Alanis.
If you didn't know, Lupe is a twin. And I met her twin, Palmyra, first. I had her as a student when she was a freshman. Then Lupe joined when they both started taking my early childhood education classes as sophomores. It has been my pleasure to watch both of them grow and mature throughout their years here. In fact, they are both still in early childhood education and have done many of the same things and have been in my classes together most of the time. And they are both outstanding students and will be amazing teachers in the future. So, when asked who my senior ECE Student of the Year would be, I really had a hard time choosing. I knew it would be either Palmyra or Lupe, and it was not an easy decision. But I chose Lupe, and I had to tell Palmyra, of course, because they both knew early on that they would be my picks, and I told them I was deciding between them. And if you know Palmyra at all, you know she fully expected it to go to her. And if you know Lupe at all, you know she was happy to get one over on Palmyra. Either one of them could have won, but I chose Lupe for a couple of specific reasons. And not just to get Palmyra. That was just a little added bonus for us. Lupe is a quiet and a serious student. She always does her best and is very intelligent. We are working right now on a large project in one of our ECE classes, a dual credit college course, I might add. And while I ask students to do a lot of reading, I have my doubts that they have read as much as they should have. Lupe, however, reads. I know this because she has tedious notes over each chapter. And they are so well organized, and they put the textbook writers to shame. She gives them to me to print with the other pieces of her portfolio, and she adds them in with her beautifully color-coded, perfectly spaced, grammatically correct work. It really is a thing of beauty that gets right to the heart of a teacher. And this is how I know she will be a great teacher. While many of us who teach are organized with color-coded lives, and we do speak in a grammatically correct way, the real heart of teaching that Lupe shares is her love of learning. It's in those extra notes and reading and seeing it all through where the real heart of a teacher lies. She's excited about what she's learning and excited about sharing it with those she will teach in the future. I see Lupe as a lifelong learner, which makes the best kind of teacher. She will come into class ready to talk to her students about something she learned on a podcast, like I often do, or ready to try out a new teaching strategy that she learned about just to try to reach that one student who isn't getting it. I know that's the kind of teacher she's going to be. It is my honor to give this award to Lupe. She is so deserving, and it has been a joy to spend these last few years with her. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for her. I know the lives of so many children will be positively impacted by her, and they will be lucky to call her my teacher.
Our next department award is the Physical Education Award, presented by Mr. Potts to Mitzi Lopez Lopez.
Good evening. I'm Tom Potts. I'm the Physical Education Department Head, and I'm here to present the Physical Education Department Award to Mitzi Lopez Lopez. I teach advanced physical conditioning, and Mitzi was in my class for the first 2 years. this year she's in Mr. Varner's class, so I asked him for some comments, and he said if he had to describe Mitzi in 3 words, it would be tough as nails. He said Mitzi's awesome to have in class. She always asks questions. She's always being a leader. She always has a great attitude and smile on her face. And she's determined to reach her goals and be successful in every workout that they do. Her work ethic is amazing. So I've got to follow that. I think it's important to understand that everybody's path to fitness and wellness is unique. For some, their path may be not to be on a path at all, but your journey is uniquely your own. And I say that because Mitzi was a consistent performer at APC the last 2 years. She was a mainstay on the leaderboards in the weight room. She was so strong. But her goals changed. And we talked a little bit about this at the beginning of the year. Her goals this year were more focused on fitness and body composition. And she said she wanted to be the best version of herself. Now that's a great goal, but that can be a mixed bag. And so I wanted Mitzi to be aware of what that process was going to look like. Normally, I'll tell people that they need to make a decision. Do you want to get stronger? Is your goal to get stronger? Or is body composition your goal? One or the other, because you really can't do both. Because if you lose weight, you're also going to lose strength, which is, in Mitzi's case, can be a shock to your ego. Are you ready to accept that? She was, and she knew the ramifications of that decision because she loved being on the leaderboards and she loved where she was at. So sure enough, her squat, when the first testing period came around, her squat went from a max of 235 pounds to 185 pounds. And she said it bothered her. There were some tears, and she had to deal with that. So, you know, man, it's so easy to get discouraged and to get distracted when things aren't going your way, when they happen slower than you want them to. And I asked Mitzi, I said, man, how did you deal with that? And she said, I just said, no, that's not going to happen. I have a goal, and I'm going to stick with it. So, I mean, the dip, the pause in strength was predictable, but that doesn't make it any easier to get through. So she had to deal with that. Now, we're at the end of the year. Her body has adapted to that, and the strength has returned. So, I am so proud of Mitzi. I know Mr. Varner is, and I know all the other PE teachers are. I'm so proud of you that you had the courage and you were brave enough to reinvent yourself, and you were committed enough not to get distracted from your goal. So it's my pleasure to present the Physical Education Award to Mitzi Lopez.
We next have our English Award winner, Kate Kimboa, presented by Mrs. Rushton.
I'm thrilled to present the English Department Award to Kay Kimboa. As the English Department Chair, this was a tough choice this year, but Kay stood out in a lot of ways. First and foremost was that she actually read the novels that we assigned in class. Recently, I ran into Kay at the dreaded preschool pickup at Blue Ridge. To set the stage for those of you who have not had the pleasure of this experience, there are cars everywhere, but none of them are in parking spots. Parents are charging the gym door. Kids are weaving in and out of moving traffic. It's madness. And in this environment, I am that Aunt Tiki. I'm impatient, stressed, pushy. I'm the one who just wants to get the kid and go. But that was not Kate. Her kindness and patience showed through in that moment. And it got me thinking that this is exactly how she approaches a lot of things in her life. In class, she is quiet, kind, and thoughtful. And as she waited for her sister, Andy Jo, she politely stood in line, gave teachers time to retrieve her sister instead of waiting at the door peeking around. And she made small talk with me, her crazy teacher. When Andy Jo came out, they calmly took each other's hands and talked about their day as they headed back to the car, which was in a designated parking spot. So while this exemplifies her as a classroom student, it's actually in her writing that she dazzles with her unique perspective and attention to detail. That is where we see the bold, the forthright, the brilliance that elevated her to the stage tonight. Her writing is what made it clear that she, unlike many of her classmates, actually did read. Kate plans to go to Ivy Tech next year to complete her general requirements before focusing her education on becoming an ultrasound tech. And it's clear to me that she has all the skills that she will need in such a position. Kindness, patience, clarity, and discretion. Kate, thank you for always shining in my room, and thank you for being you. To close, I want to explain my gift that Kate's holding. It highlights a quote from Toni Morrison, and it says, "You are your best thing." After reading home her sophomore year, Kate chose another Morrison novel this year, The Bluest Eye. It seems that she's made quite a connection with those characters and this author. So even though this quote comes from yet another novel, Beloved, we can appreciate what Morrison is saying here about young women like Kate. You are your own best thing. You do not have to answer to anyone or anything for validation. You are your own best thing. You can and you will use who you are to achieve whatever you set your mind to. Congratulations, Kate, and it's been an honor to be part of your education.
Our next award is the Commitment to Excellence Award, presented by Mrs. McKenzie and Mrs. Peart to Matthew Bear Giesler.
Good evening, I am Mrs. McKenzie, and this is Mrs. Peer, and we are going to tag team this speech tonight. We're here to recognize Matthew Bear Giesler as our outstanding senior this year for commitment to excellence. When asked about this award, he was the first name that popped up for me. And one of the main reasons he was chosen was because of his tremendous growth from middle school to now. I have had the unique opportunity to have worked with him both at the middle school and here at the high school. While working with Bear at the middle school, he really struggled with attempting work on his own and asking for help, which many times I became very frustrated with him. But now during his junior and senior years, in which I have worked with him,
high fives as we wheel our way out. Bear gets along well with his peers, and it shows. Everyone loves Bear. Well, most everyone loves Bear. People attending Fear Farm may have been intimidated by another side of Bear. We hear while working there for the band, he scared many people by coming after them with a chainsaw. But on a lighter note, we also hear he plays a mean game of rock, paper, and scissors. He demolished his competition this year and went on to represent Moudy's community in the school-wide competition. And he also commented that he, very much so, he always kept saying, I also did esports for 2 years, so I have to mention that. Okay, so they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, this is definitely the case for Bear. We would like to give a shout out to all those school personnel and family members and his peers who have helped support Bear over the years. A special thanks to Mom, Jamie Burton, Dad, Matt Giesler, Grandma, Mary Jo Giesler, and Stepdad, Brandon Burton. We do thank you so much. And so yet another member of his village, Kelly Zell, has worked with Bear since elementary school. She remembers that when she asked what he wanted to do for a job, he replied he wanted to work at McDonald's on the moon. So Bear, there aren't any McDonald's on the moon yet, but you know, you never know. So please continue to work hard, use your resources, and shoot for the moon. It is our honor to introduce Bear Giesler as the recipient of this year's Commitment to Excellence Award. Our next department award is to the Engineering and Technology student, Andrew Flatford, presented by Mr. Moonier.
Good evening. My name is Justin Munier, welding engineering teacher here at Frankfurt. The 2024 Career and Technical Education Department Award goes to Andrew Flatford. I have had Andrew in class for the last 4 years as a freshman in Intro to Advanced Manufacturing, and then in the welding pathway as a sophomore, junior, and senior, where he has excelled in every class. Andrew also took Principles of Construction and General Carpentry as a junior, and has been in construction trades class as a senior where they are building a home in the South Ridge subdivision as a class. In addition to his classroom activity as a senior, he was on the Frankfurt High School football team. Andrew plans to move to Tennessee after graduation and begin working in the construction field. As a department, we hope that Andrew will take the life skills he has learned here in our classes and others at Frankfurt High School and apply them as a positive citizen throughout his life. We would like to wish him further success after the graduation. Congratulations, Andrew Flatford.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Johnson. She'll be presenting our Multilingual Award to Darwin Lira Larios.
Good evening. My name is Gina Johnson, and I have the privilege of working with multilingual learners at Frankfurt High School. Darwin Lira Larios transferred to Frankfurt from a school in Nicaragua in January of last year. This young man hit the ground running. At the time, I had Darwin in a world history class with Mr. Clayton. We gave him assignments in English. He translated them to Spanish, did all the work and learning, translated them back into English, turned them in, and made straight A's. This year, Darwin has accomplished a 3-year pathway in 1 year, taking principles of business management, accounting fundamentals, and management fundamentals all at the same time. He continues to make straight A's. In fact, it was his business teacher, Mr. Johnson, who asked me who was going to be the Multilingual Learner of the Year, because he was so impressed with Darwin's work. Darwin is a kind, friendly, and respectful learner and leader. He always takes the time to greet me as he comes into our classroom. He is engaged in his classes and contributes to a positive and energetic learning environment. When we play a review game in class, Darwin always wins, unless he's absent, which is rare. This year, I had 2 young men start fighting in my classroom, totally unexpectedly at the beginning of a class. That has never happened in one of my classes before. But before I could respond, Darwin had one of the young men and his friend had the other. The young men were escorted to the office and we were able to get back to learning. I really appreciated that. And the 2 young men have been fine with each other in my classroom ever since. Darwin tells me that he's going to take a year before going to college to continue to work on his English language skills. That is fine, but I think he's ready for college because he knows how to learn. He is a deep thinker, his mind is always active, and he knows how to ask for help. I will miss having Darwin in class next year. I wish him the very best wherever he goes. He will make that place a better place, and the people there will be blessed to have him. Congratulations, Darwin, on your successful time at Frankfurt High School and on being the Multilingual Learner of the Year.
Our next presenter is Mr. Salee, giving the Hot Dog Network Award to Doug Wood.
Doug Wood. Where do I start? I've been hearing the name Doug Wood since pre-COVID days. When he was in middle school, I'd hear stories about how athletic of a class that he was in. Doug Wood was going to be the next great quarterback. He was also part of a very talented basketball team. Fast forward to when I got to know Doug. It was his sophomore year in my intro to radio and TV class. Doug did well in my class, but he wasn't a standout. He always did well when he was on camera, but he didn't seem to be very passionate about the technical side of broadcasting. It took one lesson for everything to change for Doug. It was my play-by-play and color commentary lesson. With his knowledge and passion for sports, Doug was a natural. With one lesson, Doug decided that he had found what he wanted to do for a career. From the moment that Doug found out, he became the student voice of the Hot Dog Network. Well, when he wasn't on the field or court. Over the past 3 years, he started networking with broadcasting professionals. He has a relationship with Sean Walker, the co-founder of the ISC Sports Network, and a relationship with Lindy Faxton, Fox 59 morning news anchor, both Hot Dog alumni. He has job shadowed Greg Rexall, the vice president of ISC Sports Network, which included play-by-play at the Indy 11 game and being in the control room during a production of the Corey and Schultz show. In all my time as a coach, I had lots of student athletes get recruited. I've never had a student get recruited for their academic side. Earlier this year, Doug came in and said that the Wabash football coach was here and that he wasn't here recruiting him for football. He wanted him to come call games for the football program. That was some pretty exciting stuff for me as a teacher. The Hot Dog Network will greatly miss Doug next year. Personally, I'll miss our talks about the hot dog sports, the Colts, and just life. The Hot Dog Network Department Award winner, Doug Wood.
Our next presenter is Mr. Jagger. He's giving the Math Award to Mr. Colby Den.
Colby has been an outstanding math student during his time here at Frankfurt High School. He has gone through basically all of the different levels of math that we offer, including my dual credit class as well as both of our AP classes, and has conquered everything that we've put in his path. I learned to know Colby during pre-calculus last year, and he performed well throughout the whole year in my class and has now continued on to calculus this year. As a result, I contacted his calculus teacher, Mr. Ray, for some information. Mr. Ray had the following information to share. He has really matured into a great understanding of his math talents throughout high school. He connects new concepts to prior information quickly and accurately, and he can apply his skills well in situations that require more abstract thinking. He now possesses a solid foundation of calculus skills that should serve him well if he continues with more rigorous math in the future. I was not surprised by Mr. Ray's words about Colby because it reminded me of what I remembered when Colby was working with me in pre-calculus, and the abstract thinking was something I really thought about because as you get into higher level math, that becomes increasingly more important. And I think this will serve Colby well in his future plans as he's going to Purdue to study physics and become an astrophysicist. So congratulations to Colby Den for the Math Award.
Our next presenter is Ms. Garcia. She is giving the World Language Award to Isais Gabriel.
Buenas tardes a todos. Yo soy la señorita García. Yo soy una de las maestras de español aquí en Frankfurt High School. Good evening to everyone. My name is Sarah Garcia. I'm a Spanish teacher at Frankfurt High School. Tonight I will be presenting the Foreign Language Department Award. As a department, we wanted to give this award to someone who has shown great interest in the language, love for the culture, and as always, a great attitude. Tonight, I have the honor and privilege of presenting the Foreign Language Department Award to Isais Gabriel. This school year, Isais challenged himself in doing something most kids wouldn't even attempt in doing. Isais read, wrote, spoke, and listened to 3 languages every day this school year. English, 2nd period, Spanish, 6th, only to walk across the hallway into French class, 7th period. Anyone who has taken a foreign language knows that learning just one language itself is hard. Isais has prided himself in soon becoming the first member in his family to not only graduate from high school, but also to attend college. Like many students, he is driven by something deep, and for him is his parents. He has a strong work ethic and is determined to succeed. Academics have always been a challenge for him, but that doesn't deter him. He seeks help and asks questions. He takes criticism very seriously and makes improvements. Without a doubt, Isais great student. As I have gotten to know Isaias over the past couple of years, I can't help but mention the immense compassion he has for others. Surely this trait will help him be successful in whatever career he chooses. He has a big future ahead of him, and I firmly believe that he will work hard and achieve all of his goals. Isaias, que Dios te bendiga, and congratulations.
Our final department award is the Theater Award presented by Mr. Taylor to Tessa Stephanatis.
This is my first time with glasses during this. I'm getting old. Giving a speech to someone that you dislike is never easy. But tonight I'm going to try. This year's senior class has seen a lot of ups and downs. They're the last of the COVID kids. They came in wearing masks. Heck, some of them even wore ski masks. But they were here, and that is what is important. For many students, the masks held them back. They made it harder to build a connection between the student and the teacher. But there was one student, however, that did not allow that thin piece of material to hold her back. From the moment she walked in, she made her presence known. And that girl is Tessa Stephanatis. For those of you that know Tessa, you know that her personality can be infectious, ranging anywhere from the sweetness of a child's smile to the rage of the simian flu. You can't escape it. To hear that she's receiving the award in theater is probably no surprise, but what you might not know is the journey that it took for her to get here. My first introduction to Tessa was in middle school, on their stage, as she played the role of Sebastian in The Little Mermaid. She was unpolished, but her comfort and in front of the audience could not go unnoticed. Once she got to high school, I looked around to find that young lady that I looked so forward to working with. But I soon found out that like most outgoing students in this school, her interests went farther beyond than just theater. Although I was able to steal some of her time in the fall, getting her in the spring musical was a little trickier. Tessa had another love, softball. Her sophomore year, we produced the musical, The Bodyguard. She convinced us that she could still do the ensemble and promised that she would put in the extra time needed to learn the music and the dances outside of softball. Not only did she step up to that task, but she actually became one of the strongest ensemble members in the show. Now, skip forward 2 years. Tessa would make a life-changing decision. She stepped away from softball. She went all in on theater, and as someone that made that similar decision in high school, she may never know just how much I understand and I appreciate how tough of a decision that it was for her to make that. However, just her decision alone did not get her cast. It was her dedication, her leadership, and of course her talents all played a part in her winning one of the leads in Guys and Dolls. Tessa is also a member of Fatissimo, Hooligans, and several other clubs at FHS. She's a leader, and she's the type of person that people listen to. Mostly because if you're not listening to her, she'll say, "Hey, listen to me." I don't want to say I'm scared of Tessa, because simply I just don't want to give her that satisfaction. But like my father used to say, you never poke a bear, because bears don't poke back. They just bite your arm off. I don't know what Tessa's future holds when it comes to theater. I mean, I'm pretty sure she'll always be dramatic. But when she walks away from here, she will head to IU Kokomo to study biology. And if you think it seems weird to jump from theater to biology, just ask her sometime to tell you about the human heart. She will instantly go into a 10-minute soliloquy describing every valve and chamber it has to offer. To say Tessa is passionate about the things she
everything that she does. Everything that she does. Just like she did here at Frankfurt High School. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Theater Honors recipient, Tessa Stefanos.
Mrs. Mowdy is going to join me on the stage. She is the brave woman who covers our student council, and she will be speaking about our class officers. We will start with our class president, Garrett Burge. We would like all class officers to please report to the stage. Class officers, please report to the stage.
I had to change this up because I didn't know I had a specific order I had to talk about these great kids in. So, good evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing to you our senior class officers. There should be four. Miss Daphne had to leave. She wasn't feeling well. These four have helped me so much over the last 2 years navigate this crazy life called student council and all that it entails. They are not only leaders for their class of 2024, but also in their respective interests in school, with their underclassmen, and in their community. Our 2024 class treasurer is Miss Jasmine Lozano Bargan. She is a 4-year member of Student Council, holding multiple offices over the years, and serves this year as our Student Council president. She plans on attending IU Indy to study marketing. We want to thank you, Jasmine. Our 2024 class secretary is Miss Daphne Santos. She is a 2-year member of Student Council, and she's held this same office for 2 years. She plans on attending Ivy Tech, and she wants to study mechanical engineering, which she educated me on a little bit. I'm a fax teacher. I don't know mechanical engineering. So we want to thank Daphne, even though she couldn't stay with us tonight. Miss Jackie is our 2024 vice president. She's a 3-year member of Student Council and also holds the vice president position for Student Council. She plans to attend IU Indy also and study medical laboratory science and medical humanities on a pre-med track. So one day she's going to come back and be our doctor. Thank you, Jackie. And last but not least is this handsome gentleman down here, Mr. Gary Burge. Your class of 2024 president. You've heard about people stepping out of their comfort zone tonight, and Garrick is one of those. He joined Student Council the same year I did. He joined Student Council last year for the first time, and he was elected vice president last year of his class. He has some great ideas and helped in so many ways to make sure that this class of 2024 had a great year. I've known Garrick for a very long time, so I can speak on him personally. Sorry, Garrick, I might have some stories to tell. Not really, he's a good kid. Even babysitting for him and his siblings a few times. I know that he will do great things wherever his feet take him. He will serve the area well because he has a servant's heart, and his future plans are to stay close to home and attend an apprenticeship program for welding. Thank you, Garrick. Thank you to the 4 of these officers who have helped us so much on Student Council and helped their class of 2024.
over until it's over. So we will be acknowledging these top 10 students in a randomized order. So the first of our top 10 students to be recognized will be Colin Fry, and he has asked Mr. Johnson to speak on his behalf.
That's a bright light. Good evening, y'all. I am Mr. Johnson. I'm James Johnson. I teach business classes here at the high school. This is my first one of these things I've ever been to. I'm a little nervous, but excited here as well. It has been pretty awesome here so far to watch all these, some of these I've had in class, get awards. It celebrates so many students who worked hard to sacrifice and achieve what y'all have done. This has not been an easy path, and nobody is here by accident. Y'all have all worked hard and had a clear vision to get here to where we wanted to be. Tonight, I am honored to present Colin with the Top 10 Award. That's right. Woo. I was extremely honored when Colin invited me or asked me to present the award to him. But in all honesty, he didn't ask me to present the award. He came to me and asked me that, hey, Mr. Johnson, I have a top 10 banquet. Would you like to go to the banquet with me? I was like, that sounds good. A banquet sounds honored at the banquet. But I was talking to Ms. Bishop, and she's like, oh, you have to make a presentation. I was like, he left that part out of it. I was going to say that was well played on Colin's part right there. But nevertheless, I'm thrilled to be here and honored to present him to everybody else right here. Y'all probably don't. Now, for me, I had Colin this year and only this year in my accounting fundamentals class. So like a year ago, I got an email saying that Colin was going to join the class. He'd not taken any of my business classes up to that point. So I was not sure what I was getting with Colin, other than he was a high achiever. And I will say he did not disappoint in that aspect of my class. So from the get-go in the class, Colin was always attentive and engaging. He was great eye contact. If you're teaching a lesson, makes great eye contact, I can tell that he's getting the information. He's not just fake getting the information, he's actually getting the information. All right, he picked up a lot of the accounting principles very quickly, which can be difficult for some students in class. But one of the cooler things about Colin is that he had a natural willingness to help out other students. So, I mean, in that class we get some kids who struggle a little bit more than other kids who try to catch up. As we go through lessons and we're teaching the content and I work a problem with them and they have to work on their own, and I'm helping some kids around the class, I'll look over to the other side of the room. And Colin will have somebody next to him or somebody around him coming over asking for help. And Colin never seems bothered by the fact that he's got to stop doing his work to help others out. And I jokingly, I told Ms. Bishop Will that I actually had to lock assignments down because Colin would have them done before class started. He'd come in and I'd already got the working papers done. And I know, Mr. Johnson, I'm done with that. I'm like, I didn't let me teach. So I had to lock those things down. So he couldn't do them until he actually got to class. So, I think the only thing I wish would be different would be that I wish I could have had Colin in other classes. All right, I mean, this is the only year that I had him. So, wrapping this up here a little bit, there's a verse that I like that says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have remained faithful. So Colin has done that, along with pretty much everybody else here, has actually fought that fight and finished his race. And the race doesn't end here. Many of you are moving on to another part of their lives. Colin is doing that next year at Purdue Polytechnic in Kokomo, where he's going to be studying electrical engineering. All right, and he has earned that right to continue working towards those dreams with the amount of effort and work he's put in here. I just want to say thank you for letting me be a small part. And even more importantly, thank you for representing Frankfurt High School, your parents, so well. Thank you, Colin.
Our next top 10 student is Jasmine Galvez, and she has chosen Mrs. Brandstetter to speak on her behalf.
that I knew she would get her work done, and I didn't really have to worry too much about her. I feel pretty fortunate because I not only got to see the academic side of Jasmine, but I also got to know her on a personal level because she loved me so much. She wanted to come and work for me at Exploration Acres her junior and senior year. So during this time, I was able to see her optimism in action yet again. She was a great employee and very personable with the customers. She was able to use her smile and her awesome personality to greet the customers as they came in. Even though she preferred working as a cashier, she would willingly work other positions without complaining, even if that meant standing in the cold, watching the children play in the activity area or slide down the slide, or driving a lawnmower around in circles, pulling a train of toddlers. She always did it without complaint. She is very easygoing and always eager to help out, and does so with a smile and a positive attitude. I couldn't have asked for a better employee or student. When I think of the ideal employee and student, Jasmine is what comes to mind. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree either. She brought her mom Kelly along to work with her at the farm, and she is just as delightful and positive as Jasmine. So I can see where she gets it from. Speaking of her family, this is where her fierceness and her loyalty comes in. From what I've seen, Jasmine has a sense of loyalty to her friends and her family, and they mean the world to her. During her high school years, Jasmine was involved in National Honor Society and SAD. Did I mention she was a hard worker? Because besides being involved in clubs, she worked at Pepe's, Exploration Acres, and she was a certified lifeguard at the pool. Did I miss anything? Okay. If you can't tell, this is one who has impressed me a little with her work ethic. It is our hope as educators to make an impact on our students, even just one. But we don't necessarily expect them to make an impact on us, and it is quite a pleasant surprise when they do. All of Jasmine's hard work and determination have earned her an academic spot in the top 10. She will be heading to IU Bloomington in the fall for college. Although undecided at this time, I have no doubt that she will figure out what she wants to major in. And once she sets her mind to it, her determination will supersede all her uncertainties. I know that whatever path she chooses in life, she will be successful, and wherever she lands, we'll truly be lucky to have her. Thank you, Kelly and Roy, for raising such a lovely daughter. It's my honor and privilege to present the Top 10 Award to Jasmine Galvez. I'm glad that I could be a part of her life journey, and I wish her the best of luck with her future.
Our next top 10 student is Edith Regalado Lopez, presented by Mr. Scholl, played by Mr. Hale.
Good evening. I'm Assistant Principal Martin Hale, and it's my pleasure to recognize Edith Regalado Lopez as one of our top 10 students. Edith's probably standing up here thinking, I've never seen this guy before in my life, walking around the halls. And it's correct, because you don't come to my office very much. You're not the type of kid that typically I interact with, would you say? So, she's here today because Mr. Scholl, Edith's chosen presenter, was called away to a family situation. So it's my honor to read these words from Mr. Scholl honoring Edith. Mr. Scholl writes, "It is my pleasure to introduce Edith Regalado Lopez as one of the top 10 students in the 2024 Frankfurt graduating class. I was first introduced to Edith while throwing a stuffed animal, shark to be exact, in my Principles of Engineering course with her friends, which set the tone as what was to become an interesting year. Throughout my time with Edith, I've noticed that Edith is always friendly, kind, outgoing, and eager to get to work to solve problems. What sets her apart from her peers is her ability to help others and lead when challenged. In addition to being an effective leader, She has the ability to listen while valuing ideas and strategies from her classmates. Her capacity to appreciate and give feedback is a skill that serves her well as a proactive learner. One characteristic of Edith, which many of you may not be aware, is her claim of being a comedian. And did you know that Edith's attempt at comedy is answering questions with a stoic short answer? And I have to say that it works for her. In addition to making people laugh, Edith has spent each semester on the honor roll and has twice been Hot Dog of the Week. She is a member of the GLDP, Crash, and National Honor Society. As a member of the Grassroots Leadership Development Program, Edith was very engaged in learning about how community works, how decisions are made, and about the roles of different leaders in our community. She has also attended the National USHLI Conference in February, and has also attended several city council meetings and school board meetings to learn about the decisions that drive our community. Edith embodies all the characteristics of a top 10 student. She's obviously smart, driven to succeed, involved, and an advocate for her community as a whole. I know that she'll find great success in the future. Her goal in life is to help others fulfill their dreams. Congratulations, Edith. It's students like you who make our school, our community, and our world at large a better place.
Our next top 10 student is Julia Luz, presented by Mr. Dudley.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Dudley, Andy Dudley, head of the math department here at Frankfurt, and tonight I have the honor of presenting Julian Luz. Hey, if any of you guys have seen Julian, could let him know that the speech is going to start. Oh, there's Julian. If you know Julian, I actually didn't recognize him. I thought that was a medically implanted device that was not removable. So you can leave those on for a minute. If you guys could, I'm going to gesture and act like I'm seeing something. I need you to nod. I need you to roll back in your seats and laugh because whatever. Now, go ahead. Okay. Because whatever I say in this speech is not going to do justice to such an awesome kid. So, Julian, you can take those off now. So before I get to my part, Julian wanted me to recognize those in attendance that are here to celebrate his accomplishments because that's the kind of guy he is. He wants to thank his father, Sergio Luz, and his mother, Nancy Mora. In addition, he wants to recognize and thank his many aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends that are here for him tonight. So, in sports, the player that scores a ton of goals and runs for touchdowns, wins races, they get all the attention. Their contributions are written about in the paper and are mentioned on the announcements at school. But you know the kind of player that drives a championship team, leads to team success? That's Julian Luz. He's that kind of guy. His hard work and practice and his contributions in games don't typically show up on a stat sheet. And I would say the same thing about what we see from Julian in the classroom all the time. But he's at the root of team success. He's at the root of classroom success. As a member of our soccer team, he was a critical part of the team's conference championship this year. His coach reached out and said this about him, Travis Tyson. He said, Julian was a vital piece of our conference-winning team this year, and as our right winger, he pushed himself hard during games and played one of the most grueling positions in soccer for our team. Often he'd be moved around, he played multiple positions when necessary, and never once complained. While he's quiet and calm on the field, he plays with a lot of passion. Despite already being a good player, Julian was great at taking advice and direction and immediately putting it in action on the field. And on top of that, he had the team's best GPA. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dudley's a baseball coach, so of course he went to the sports reference. But I'll tell you, that's not what's going on here. I think that while being good at sports is great, it doesn't say much about you as a person. But I think Julian's strengths on the soccer field are a perfect snapshot of what's going to drive his success in life. Despite being quiet and reserved, he's a very serious student and does whatever it takes to be successful, even if that means going outside of his comfort zone. He comes down to my class to get extra help for AP Statistics, which is a very, very challenging course. He comes in for extra help, asks great questions, and he never complains about the difficulty of the material. On top of soccer and intense academic coursework, he's held down multiple jobs in food service and at Walmart. I'm at Walmart almost every day, so I can attest to his work ethic there as well. After graduation, he's going to attend Purdue University, where he plans on studying electrical engineering. So I thought, boy, when I went to college, I just wanted to get out and buy my first new car for myself and have some nicer things. Not Julian. He's really proud of his family, who's pushed him to always do his best. And he's proud of himself that he's worked so hard for great academic opportunities that they weren't always afforded. So he wants to achieve great things at Purdue so that he can have a successful career, invest his money, and help his parents retire, and buy the new truck that he promised his grandfather as a young kid. Kind of made me feel not that great about myself, honestly. Having seen firsthand his willingness to do the hard things, to really dig down whatever it takes, work multiple jobs, coming for extra help, even when nobody's watching, and to keep his focus on his goals in the long run, I have no doubt that Julian will achieve all of that and more. So congratulations, Julian.
Next up, we have Cesar Mendoza, presented by Mr. Jagger.
Since I'm a math guy, I'd like to start with a little bit of math information related to Caesar, and then I'll go to a few other parts. I first learned to know Caesar last year in my pre-calculus class, where he did very well and has now moved on to calculus this year. And so I emailed Mr. Ray for some additional information and would like to share what he provided me with. Mr. Ray said that Caesar is a model calculus student who can be both a deep thinker and a creative problem solver. His participation is consistently high, and his insights help move our discussions of new concepts forward in a productive manner. He is also conscientious with his work, and his overall effort reflects his desire to be successful in his calculus class. Next, I would like to share some things that Caesar told me about that he was involved in during his time in high school, and that has been CRASH, National Honor Society, the Grassroots Leadership Development Program. He was in track and field for 2 years and has taught children how to read at Suncrest every Monday for 2 hours. Upon learning about his involvement in CRASH, I sent an email to Mrs. Johnson for some additional information, and Mrs. Johnson shared a few things, but then also referred me to Esmeralda Cruz, who would have more information and experiences with Caesar. And when Esmeralda responded to my email, I was amazed. What I saw basically in that email, I thought could be a speech all in itself, was very impressive as I was reading things that she shared with me, so I would like to comment on a few of those. The first is that Caesar is the first person in his family to attend college. Going along with that, he participated in an education after high school program to invest time in being prepared for college. He seeks ways to be involved and engaged with his community and giving back. And also he is invited to be part of the core committee of the Grassroots Leadership Development Program because of his professionalism, communication skills, and inquisitive nature. It is my honor to award Cesar Mendoza with the top 10 for today.
Hutton.
Hello, my name is Jason Hutton still. I still teach the band. This is Cameron Queen. Cameron Queen is the son of Chuck and Kristen Queen. I would like to thank them for their involvement with Cameron and the Hot Dog Band for the past 4 years. I would also like to thank Cameron for selecting me to speak on his behalf tonight. It is truly an honor. Cameron Queen enjoys camping, hiking, fishing, and one more indoor activity, supporting his sister at all of her volleyball tournaments. He is the brother. When they ask a brother or boyfriend, he's the brother, okay? Cameron, I have a younger sister, and I can relate to going to my younger sister's stuff, okay? Good for you, all right? And here's what I think about Cameron. I would imagine that you, being the son of teachers, know a lot about what makes a great student. And that is what you are, Cameron. You're a great student. If I had to think of a word to describe Cameron, it would be selfless. Now, while this is an awesome trait to have, it does make it a little difficult to write a speech about you. You see, Cameron, he asked me to do this speech, and I didn't even know that he was in the top 10. In fact, he tells me, because I asked him, that he's number 2. That is what I mean when I say he's selfless. When I was in high school, I told everybody that I was at the top of my class. And apparently, I'm still doing it. Cameron is also selfless in how he roots for others. As a good brother, as noted, he roots for his sister at her sporting events. Cameron also supported the actors on stage at the musical for the last 3 years, as he played trumpet in the pit orchestra. So if you enjoyed hearing the trumpet in The Bodyguard, The Wizard of Oz, or Guys and Dolls, that was Cameron. For 4 years, I have seen him be one of the most dedicated supporters of our basketball and football teams. Cameron shows up to every game and is always cheering for the Hot Dogs. He is rooting them on when most kids are on their phones or doing something else. For years now, I've counted on Cameron to tell me what is going on in the game when I wasn't paying attention or just couldn't see what was going on. He's helped me have the band not playing during injuries a lot. I appreciate that, okay? I will miss him at games next year. Cameron is one of the best leaders in the band. He leads by example. He always can be counted on to show up and be doing the right thing. Cameron was always right on time, or maybe a couple minutes early to practice, but never super early. He's a little bit of a trumpet diva that way. I've never seen him speak badly of others, and in turn, no one speaks badly of Cameron. Cameron is kind, and everybody loves him. I mean, I tried to get some dirt on him from his sister Caroline, but all she would say is that he sleeps through his alarm for 10 minutes often. I mean, he is an Eagle Scout after all. He can be counted on to show up, do amazing work, and never needs a title to be a great leader. My only suggestion for you, Cameron, would be to not sleep through your alarm. Because even though you were on time, I now know that you could have been to band 10 minutes earlier. Here's what I'll remember about Cameron. I will always remember him racing people during marching band practices and being surprised at how fast Cameron is. I will miss seeing him in class and at concerts. Having an outstanding trumpet player who has been to state solo and ensemble multiple times honestly makes the band sound awesome. Everybody talks about how good the band sounds at the games, and Cameron is a big part of the reason why. But most of all, I will miss his smile, easygoing attitude, and great leadership. Cameron, I thank you and wish you luck as you head to Purdue to study actuarial science, which your sister tells me means stats and stuff. Congratulations.
Our next top 10 student is Ethan Barker. He will be presented by Mr. Potts.
Mr. Ethan Barker. Good evening again. Ethan's in my advanced physical conditioning class this year. He wasn't in there, he was in APC last year, but he was in another class. He was in, I believe it was Coach Mack's class. And I would ask Coach Mack about the people in his class in comparison to mine, and he always brought Ethan's name up. So he came to my class with some expectations. So I had some expectations for him. So when we were in the, I like the locker room, by the way, before and after, these guys are getting ready for class, and we're in the locker room waiting for the bell to ring, and you get in some conversations with these guys, and you find some things out. And one day, we were in the locker room getting ready for class, and Ethan said, "Hey, Mr. Potts, do you like me? I mean, do you think I'm a good kid?" I'm like, yes. I think you're a good kid. And he said, that's when he asked me if I would speak for him. So I said, oh, okay, because I was kind of puzzled. It's an honor to be able to do this. And so I want to be able to tell you what I've learned about Ethan this year and the kind of person that he is. First, he's an extremely hard worker. I always tell my students, and I look down here at almost all these guys, nearly all of them have been in my class, and I always tell them, if you walk out that door and say, because some of them think it's a badge of honor to say, man, that was easy, that was so easy. If you walk out that door and say the workout was easy, that's not a reflection of the workout. That's a reflection of the effort you put into the workout. Because a workout is neither difficult nor easy. It is whatever you make of it. I don't control the intensity, they do. If you want that workout to be hard, you have many ways to increase the intensity of that workout. You can go faster, you can go harder, you can go heavier. So the burden is on you. That was never a problem with Ethan, or with with Ethan, I said Ethan. There was one time I actually had to pull him back. I think Caesar was in that class too. That day you were doing Tabata squats. And so I've done this long enough to be able to see when somebody's going to crash and burn if they don't pull back a little bit. So I had to pull him back, and of course he was, no, I can do it. And I said, just go sit over there on that bike and pedal a little bit. So you need to recover, but that's just the way he is, and that's a good quality. I'd rather have an overachiever than an underachiever. Secondly, he has really good leadership qualities. There was a day we were pushing sleds upstairs. These guys love the sled pushes, and I don't let them choose their group. I usually group them according to who I think would work well together. And I put him on a lighter sled with a group of younger guys, and he wasn't happy about that because he wanted to be on the big sled. I want to push the big way. I want to be with those guys. And I didn't tell him why until after class. I said there were some younger guys on that sled that needed leadership. They needed someone to show them not to quit and to motivate them. They need to see an example of how to do this. And that's why I put you with that group. And he understood and accepted that. The third thing is that he's very thoughtful and considerate. We were upstairs again in Case Arena. I think it was the day the fire alarm went off, and so we left in a rush, and I left my laptop upstairs. And when the fire drill was over, we just went to the locker room, and then I realized I left my laptop upstairs in Case Arena, and I like to enter my grades right at the end of class every day. And I'm like, man, I forgot my laptop. And before I could go get it, Ethan walks over to me with my laptop. He'd gone up to Case Arena and brought that. Who does that? I mean, I couldn't believe it, that a student that he brought, I'm sure he had to retrieve something of his own up there, but while he was at it, he grabbed my laptop and brought it down to me, and some students would have dropped a weight on my laptop. But that's just another quality that I've seen in him over the course of this year. Lastly, I'm sure he has a firm grip on the reality of post-high school life, because I think we were coming in the other day from outside, and I said, man, this last month is just going to fly. Are you looking forward to life after high school? And he said, yeah, I'm not looking forward to paying the bills. And I thought, man, that's an adult attitude. So, oh yeah, one more thing. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. Mr. Ethan Barker.
Our next top 10 student is Elizabeth Pierce, presented by Mr. Hammond.
The one and only Dolly Parton once observed about excellence that it's rough to be a diamond in a world of rhinestones. And I would like to observe at the moment that those words are probably true about the students that we've been honoring here tonight. And I appreciate getting to know a lot of the students that have been here and really enjoy your achievements. So congratulations for that. But those words also apply really well to Libby, who was first in my class in chemistry as a sophomore. And it took until the second semester that I finally started to notice that there was this student that was getting all the points and all the work was in, and it was on time, and there was extra. And so from that point, I started saying, I better keep an eye on this student a little bit. So I did, and I could tell that she has some of these really important traits, which are that she pays attention, and she's really thoughtful about the topic that she's studying at the time. So it's all of those are good characteristics that bring you to be successful and to be excellent. So she applies that quite well, and she's she's been under the radar a lot. In fact, tonight I found out for the first time that she played #1 singles on the high school team, tennis team, all 4 years. I knew she was good, but I didn't know she was #1 singles player all this time. So she's been pretty quiet about it, and that's kind of a refrain that we've heard about a lot of the students here in the top 10. So all those things are good signs. I guess the next place we're going is to Purdue to study biomedical engineering. Libby's roommate at Purdue is also named Libby, and also plays tennis. And you can imagine some hijinks they could get into at Purdue with swapping names and things like that, and trying to fool people who they are. So that could be a pretty exciting time at Purdue while the biomedical engineering is going on, and hopefully she's going to be doing some research after high school and trying to impact the world in a much wider way than just on an individual basis. So with that, this is Libby Pierce.
Next up, we have Eli Grasham, presented by Mr. Taylor.
We're in the home stretch. There are some students that walk these halls and you think that they have been here forever. And then you start to take it for granted that they will always be here. Until one day you're hit with that reality. They're gone. That is how it's been with Eli. It feels like he's been here for the last 7 or 8 years. Maybe that's because I was first introduced to Eli watching him make people laugh and shake, rattle, and rock on the middle school stage. It wasn't long after that we invited him to join the high school cast in Bye Bye Birdie to play the annoying little brother. Only to follow that up to play a role at the Red Barn Summer Theater in 1,000 Clowns. By the time Eli finally made it to high school, he was a seasoned performer. In fact, he was the only freshman on stage in our production of Rumors during the COVID days. Although most of my time spent with Eli was in the theater, over the last couple of years, Eli has started to branch out. Somewhere he found a love for sports. His passion for Purdue everything has pulled his attention. In the past, he's liked to talk about theater, music, improv, basically anything performance-based. But now, he loves to talk about Purdue, and occasionally the Colts and the Pacers. Eli even took that a step further by now announcing several hot dog basketball games and even stepped in as our first host of our new talk show, The Canine Corner. From day one, Eli has been a leader in this building. He's been someone that we can count on when the job needs to get done. However, being that guy is not easy, but he has managed to do it while keeping up with his grades and staying focused on his academics. Eli is goal-oriented. Now, he might not always be the first one memorized in a show, or he might not be the first one to have all of his assignments turned in, but when the deadline hits, the job is done. To truly explain Eli's greatness, it's not an easy task. So I decided to take a few Chuck Norris memes and replace Chuck's name with Eli. If you're not familiar with Chuck Norris memes, The flu gets Eli Grasham shots each year. Eli Grasham's calendar goes straight from March 31st to April 2nd because nobody fools Eli Grasham. And finally, on the seventh day God rested, Eli took over. I will end on this note. Eli is never afraid to debate any subject. And often I just sit back, I listen, and I enjoy the show whether I agree with his argument or not. But there is one argument that cannot be denied, and the video footage does not lie. On May 18th, 2022, a dodgeball hit Mr. Jewell in the foot, and from that moment on, he should have been eliminated from the game. I'm just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, our top 10 member, Eli Grasham.
Our final award winner of this evening is Miss Tiffany Zhang, presented by Mrs. Rushton.
I would just like to open by saying that I'm very upset with whoever put me after Mr. Taylor to close the night. All right, Tiffany Zhang. I cannot believe the day is here when you are going to be springing out of Frankfurt finally and onto the beautiful Bloomington IU campus where you will study to be a nurse. Tiffany is the only one in her volleyball class to make it through all of the masking and the online classes and the shutdown. Tiffany didn't have a freshman year with us. However, when she came back, she was a pillar of our team. Tiffany always has a smile on her face. If she's happy, she smiles. She's smiling now, see? If she's mad, she smiles. If she's ready to throw down with somebody, she smiles. But she radiates quite a light that comforts others, which is one of the many reasons I know that she will be a great nurse. Tiffany's resume reads much like the other gifted students here tonight. She's been involved in an impressive amount of activities, and she has an impressively high GPA. She was a Lilly Scholarship finalist. She was academic All-State. She even was a Letters About Literature finalist. She hides one of her biggest attributes with all those smiles, though, because she is arguably one of the most fierce ladies in this theater. While COVID took away her freshman year, I knew when she came back, I could rely on her to be bold when necessary, always confident in making the right choices, and above all else, a morally solid foundation for the girls to look down to. I lost my place. Here we go. So anyway, over the last several years, I have been studying Nurse Macy, and I've noticed that you have a couple of things in common. You're both patient, you're both brave, you're both confident, and you're both willing to advocate for your people. So when I saw this gift at Buc-ee's on the way to Florida on spring break, I thought about you instantly. So I got you this little keychain that I hope you'll carry around. And his name is Doug, and he's a little hot dog, okay? This guy comes along with a tag that says the following: Doc helps you know when to be stubborn and when to give in. I think that those two things are important for a nursing student. At times you will need to be stubborn with your coworkers, with your peers, with the doctors, to get things done. You will need to be stubborn when choosing not to give up when facing the dreaded NCLEX test or working on a coding patient. But also, remember not to allow that confidence and stubbornness to overflow into arrogance, but you would never do that. Best of all though, Doc is a nice reminder of where you came from, a symbol that you can show people when they confusedly say, hot dogs? What? I'd like to close with a quote from Jodi Picoult. The doctors may be mapping out the war plans, families, but it is the nurses who make the battle bearable. Everything you've become in your time here at FHS proves that you're prepared to do just that. You make a lot of situations bearable. Tiffany, we are proud of you and we love you, and we're excited to see what you accomplish in the near future. Congrats.
I'm guessing that a lot of you are feeling like I am. Incredibly proud of our class of 2024 students today. You've done an amazing job, as we've heard all about today. Teachers, I want to thank you for having these great relationships with kids, knowing them inside and out, helping them make it through these tough times, and leading them to a great future. Families, once again, thank you for being here with us today. It's been an excellent evening. Safe travels. Thank you.